Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Romance Nights. We are your hosts, Colleen.
And I'm Marjorie. Today's episode, we have book influencer Maria. Welcome to the Unfiltered Romance Nights podcast. And we are so excited to have you and talk about some book slump recommendations.
So before we start talking about book slumps and everything, let's get to know you. I know that we see your entertaining and amazing videos on TikTok, but let's get to know a little bit about Maria. So do you remember about when you started TikTok and or Instagram, and what gave you the idea to do it?
Yeah, I started Book Talk about 2.5 years ago. Um, I was kind of just scrolling through and saw some, book reviews, and I'm like, what is this Book Talk? I've never heard of Book Talk before. And then after just seeing some videos, I was like, you know what? I love to read. I have no one to
Mhm.
talk to about books. So I just kind of watched for a few months, just kind of nervous about taking that step.
Mhm.
It's so awkward to see yourself talk on video and do book reviews. So I did that for a while. And then, yeah, I just kind of started making videos and I had so much fun doing it and made so many friends that I kept on. So here we are 2.5 years later and
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you, or like, do you remember like the first author you arc read for?
Yes, actually, I do. My very first author I arc read for was J.L. Beck, and it
Ah,
was Worse Than Enemies. Uh, I was so excited when I got that arc. I mean, I was fangirling, I was jumping up and down. Um, yes, I was so excited.
That's
yeah, I'm trying to
awesome.
think. I think my first arc was PH Nix. What about you, Marjorie?
Um, if I think it was Kylie Kent.
Oh, okay. I know the first arc you get, you're like, oh my God, I made it. This is it.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so funny. I was like obsessed with signing up for arcs and I was signing up for
Uh-huh.
everything. Here lately, I have like kind of like taken a step back a little bit because I'm like,
Mhm.
whoo, it can be a lot sometimes, and your TBR gets so full, and you want to read some other things, and so I've kind of like backtracked a little bit, but I still have authors that I work with and love, and will just continuously arc read for. So
I think that's what happens. Like, if it wasn't for Marjorie, I'd still be like getting how many arcs a month? Like, it's like fear of missing out. But then I'm like, when do I get to read the stuff that's been on my shelves for however long? So, yeah, I think that's just what happens. Now, for those people who are new to the social media book talk platform and they want to get into it all, what do you have any advice for them or any recommendations that you would give them?
yeah, I mean, I wish I could like, give them a manual, like follow these directions and it will be perfect. It changes so much, but I feel like the most I could say is, well, obviously be yourself, be authentic, be confident when you're doing your videos. People can really tell a difference. And then consistency is key. So, like, you can't, like, get on, I feel like, and make a video and then not post for a week and then try to post again. Like, you really have to be consistent. And when I first started, I was posting 3 to 5 times a day, and I
Wow.
would never miss. And I was constantly posting videos. And it sounds like a lot of work, but I mean, at the time, I was new and I had all these ideas, so it was just easy for me. But I feel like just being consistent and as often and being yourself as you can be, is key.
Yeah.
And figure out what, like, works for you too, because I feel like when you first start, try to do an array of different videos, like, see if review videos are your thing, or see if, like, trope themes are your thing, or, like, quote videos, videos with book quotes in them, or, see what works best for you and who's engaging with your posts, and then, you know, go down that path.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Do you still post kind of like 3 to 5 times a day now?
Um,
Or
I I post like 1 to 3 now. At least once
Yeah.
a day. So 1 to 3 now, is pretty much kind of where I'm at, but it's hard, like, the longer you're doing it and sometimes we all get in these, like, creative slumps, like, "Well, what do I post now?" Or, like, sometimes you're not feeling inspired or,
Yeah.
so, I think it's normal. We all get like that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's
Um,
a struggle, I just don't wanna do it. I'm like, "I'm
yeah,
not in the mood."
I think I
Yeah.
struggle with that a lot.
I'm like, "I
Um,
just wanna read
so
my books."
right.
Right.
Yeah.
uh, so have you ever considered PAing for any authors, or do you PA at all?
I do work with a few authors. I'm not like their
Oh,
PA, but I help with
mhm.
like social media stuff with them.
Oh,
Like making posts or manage a certain page for them.
mhm,
Um, and I have a lot of fun doing it. It's not like a full-time job by no means. It's just something
mhm,
I do because I love these authors. I've been a fan way before I even started helping them in any capacity. So just the thought of being able to like, have a relationship with them, help their platforms grow. And I do that with just a couple authors right now.
okay,
Oh, that's nice.
that's awesome.
Um, Now have you always been, like, an avid reader, or is it something that you adapted as you got older?
Reading and I have been like touch and go. I
Yeah.
feel like when I was a child, I did some reading, when I was a kid, but somewhere along the way, high school years, it was all about, friends and going out.
Yeah.
So there was a time in my life where I put the books down. Um, and then in my early 20s, I started reading very regularly again, and I was mostly into, like, your thrillers and your suspense, like, I read a lot of James Patterson, like, I did, like, a lot of his backlist, um, at the time, so I did a lot of that in my early 20s, and then I got married and had kids, so then it went on the back burner again, and I missed
Mhm.
out on years of reading, and then COVID came, and then I was
Oh,
home
right.
all the time. So I started reading again at that time. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, me and reading.
Mm, gotcha. Do you remember the very first spicy book that you read, and which one was it?
I do actually. It was the After series by Anna Todd.
Yes. Okay.
Uh,
You know.
that series, it was a few years ago. My cousin was like, "You have got to read this book. It is so good." And so I just picked it up, not really knowing what I was getting myself into. And again, like romance was not the genre I was really reading.
Mhm.
So it was kind of, my first step into romance. And I read the entire series in like a week. I was completely obsessed.
Did you did you watch the movies too?
I watched the first couple movies. I did watch the first couple, and I was disappointed. So I didn't go
Oh.
back to watch the rest of them.
So, I didn't read the books. I was up and I was just going through Netflix and my friend had told me, "Check this out." Now I watched it and I was like, "Oh my god, this guy's asshole." And I'm like, "But I when's movie 2 coming out?" I will say the last movie was a complete letdown.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think I
last one,
stopped
I
after
didn't.
the second movie, but I mean, we kind of know as readers, the movie's never the
Yeah,
same, and they changed so
right.
much in the plot for the
They did.
movie. And yeah, I was super hooked, and I think I think it might have been, it wasn't like full on bully, but it definitely had the like you said, the a-hole vibes going, the alpha
Yeah.
hole vibes going, and it just the drama in it just really sucked me in.
I think I'm gonna read it. I was like, I don't know, it's gonna be the same, but now that you're saying that, I might just read it. Anywho, what would you say is your holy grail of book series that you will always recommend no matter what?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have read it's King of Corium series by C. Hallman.
Yes. I haven't read it, but I have
Oh
it.
my oh my gosh, that series, I read that a couple years ago, one of the first series I read when I started getting into book talk, and I could not put it down. I think that was my introduction to like a true bully romance because book one is very heavy and bully. Um, but it puts you on this roller coaster of emotions, the things this FMC goes through. There was really great action scenes, suspense, mystery. I mean, I feel like the series has it all, but it's like super dark, so it's not for everyone. But that series is that's one of the series I have reread several times and have loved it even more every time I've reread it.
I've read
Okay.
that. I think I read it back to back, like the first three books.
Mm-hmm.
Q and oh my gosh, I forgot her name.
Aspen.
Aspen. Okay. I would say book two was like the most emotional, I feel like, if I remember it correctly, with the three books
Mm-hmm.
because of what
Yeah.
happened in the end. Yeah.
Is it a why choose or no?
Mhm.
No, okay.
No, it's an MF, but there's like some non-con and dub-con, and um, the first book, like I said, is really heavy into the bully. She's hated by everyone at this university, and she really goes through it. So there were moments where there were tears in my eyes. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this poor girl." And then there were moments where, it's like something about the bully romance when the guy falls, man, it just hits
Mhm.
different,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I
he
agree.
fell hard. It was a good
Yeah.
series, really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to bump that up the list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely
Yeah.
like between two of them, it was almost like a star-crossed lovers because, like you said,
Yes.
everybody hated her, and he's supposed to be kind of like the king of the university. So he
Uh-huh.
had to be like, "I'm gonna be an asshole to you," kind of thing.
Yeah, and their families are forbidden, so it is
Yeah.
kind of like
Okay.
Romeo and Juliet type, he
Mhm.
can't be with her and he shouldn't want to be with her, but
Mhm.
he can't help how he's falling for her, but he's a
Right.
real a-hole to her in the beginning, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'm actually surprised she just didn't up and quit and just left. I mean, granted,
Me
you can't go
too.
anywhere, but it's like I would like beg and plead, be like, just get me out of here. Just
Right?
get me
Yeah,
out.
like I give up.
But yeah, yeah. She's tough. She was a tough cookie, I would say that.
She definitely was a tough FMC for sure.
Mhm.
Mm.
Okay, so okay, this one. Would you choose either like an alpha male, morally gray, or morally black, a hot nerd, or a golden retriever, or all of them because you want your own harem?
I love the idea of all of them. I feel like I have so many book boyfriends and they fit, in all these different categories. But if
Mm.
I had to choose one, like you were like, no, Maria, you have to choose one, I would probably say the morally gray, morally black character. Because I just feel like the villain will just do anything for you. I mean, and I love
Yeah,
that. Like, I'll burn the world for you. And I'm like, yes, that's right.
Mm,
I know. Yeah.
I like that. I always like that when those TikTok videos where it's like, the hero will sacrifice you, I guess, kind of thing, but the villain will sacrifice the world for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I love
I tell my husband that all the time. I'm like, you better step it up, man, because these book boyfriends,
Oh, yeah,
they'll
they're
do
very
anything
different.
for me. Will you do that for me?
Exactly.
Where would you say your husband fits into all that? All the different
Oh
categories.
man, he's probably the golden retriever.
Same.
I think I'm the
Same.
only one who got the asshole.
Yeah.
The asshole. Definitely an
So
asshole.
he's alpha male. Is Tommy also he's morally gray? Maybe?
I mean, if it comes to me, he would
Yeah,
be.
for sure. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Now, who in all the books that you've read, this might be a tough one. Who is out of all of them your ultimate book boyfriend? Any character?
Man, you really come at me with these questions. Um, if I, there's so many, of course. If I look at just the last few months, because that's about as far as my brain will, reach in capacity, the amount of books I'm reading. But I would say, I don't know if you've read Madness yet by Chantal Tezier, but Hayden is like
Oh,
something
okay.
else.
Mm.
So Hayden is like, he's definitely like morally black.
Mhm.
He is definitely the a-hole at the start of things, but man, he could be sweet on her and things do, he'll do anything for her. So I would say he's kind of like my ultimate book boyfriend. But when I think like some of my all-time favorite books, like Rena Kent hits every single time with the male main characters. So like
Yeah.
they're always on my book boyfriend list every single time. So she never like misses a beat when it comes down to these book boyfriends.
Would you be able to choose one from Rena Kent?
Man, I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, I think I set myself up for
She will
that.
open the door.
Dang. You know, I would say I love Jeremy from the Legacy of God series. He is like my favorite, but I also love Nico from that series. But I also really like Jeremy's dad, Adrian,
Oh.
as like if I had to like look at the entire, her entire Arenaverse series, I probably would pick him actually.
Yeah. I'm actually reading his trilogy right now, so I'm on book 2. I'm actually loving him so far, so.
Oh, he's so great, and I love that trilogy. That's a really good trilogy.
I know. What am I only like 3 or 4 books in her universe? I gotta
You need to
get
step
reading.
up.
I know. What is one book trope that you absolutely will not read, and then one that without fail you'll always read?
I would say I am not a huge fan of love triangles. I
Yeah.
and if I'm gonna do it, I'm very picky about the love triangle. Like I need to know going into it who our winner is because I can't stand going into a love triangle where I'm like picking the guy and then at the end it's not the guy and I'm like mad. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree.
yeah, so I get a little. They're not really my favorite. I also actually don't care much for Why Cheeses, and I know it's a lot of people's favorite. Um, I don't know. I think it's because I'm so like I love it when he's super duper possessive and obsessed, and like in my mind, I'm like, he's not sharing her at all. Like this, it's his only. So those aren't really generally my favorite, but I would say ones that I do like, I'll always read an Enemies to Lovers. I'll always do a
Yeah.
bully romance. And I love mafia. So I usually am like, I do a lot of mafia romances.
I noticed that when you come up, like every other
Yeah.
video, like you'll come out and say, "Oh, another mafia romance. I was like, I need to skip her videos because my TBR keeps getting longer
I
with these
know.
mafia romances. Like, I love your videos. Don't get me wrong. It's just like I just
Yeah.
can't catch up with my TBR anymore. And I'm
I
not
know,
even
it's
arcing for
insane.
anybody. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's a few book talkers like you, sometimes Mal, and then I can't think of who else. But when I know I'm looking for something to read, I'm like, all right, what's Maria been reading? Because I know that's in some cases we're pretty similar in what like you whatever you review, I usually like. But I have not read Elsie Silver because I don't know. Like I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure.
She has been personally a hit or miss for me. I have read a few of her books that I absolutely loved, and then I've read a few that were just okay for me. Um, so, but I mean, the ones I've read, I can send you, like, read these. These are the best ones.
Okay.
oh,
In my opinion, anyways.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So, we've all experienced book slumps, here and there.
Mm.
What do you do to get out of your slump, I guess?
Yeah, man, book slumps are hard. I feel like I was in one in September for a little while there. I feel like there's a few different types of book slumps. I feel like there's a book slump where you're like, it's a burnout where you just feel like you're just overstimulated. You've just read so much. Like they're all starting to sound the same to you. Like I call that a burnout. And then I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's like a reading slump where it's like you're coming off a book high. Like you just finished a 5-star or like an infinity star book and you're like, oh my God, this book was so good. Nothing's going to compare. So
Right.
now you're on this book high. And then I feel like there's those slumps where you're just like mentally and emotionally, you're just not with it in the world. So nothing is going to jive with you. So I feel like there's just so many different types. And one thing like across the board, I feel like for me is if I take a break, and I mean like I'm not reading anything, like nothing on audio, nothing on Kindle, and I am like, I'll take a break and watch a movie, or I'll take a break and watch this on Netflix. And I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I'll like pick a movie and I'm like, this is so cheesy. I could find a book version of this that would be better. And then it like kicks me out of my slump because then I'm like, I'm just gonna go read a book
Yeah.
now. It's so funny that I do that. But did that, or sometimes I just, it depending on how bad it is, I might just change formats. Like if I'm reading something on Kindle with my eyes, I'll just be like, let me just switch to audio, and that might help. Or most of the time, like 80% of the time, I will pick up my go-to genre, which is either mafia or something very high action and high like suspense. Because if I have something where I can't turn the page fast enough because there's just so much going on in the book,
Yeah.
then that usually will pull me out of it. So I feel like if everybody has like a go-to trope or a go-to genre, that can sometimes help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do, Marjorie?
It's usually mafia that I will go
Usually you
to,
go.
Yeah.
or bully, like super bully. Like not the beginner bully romances. It has to be like dark.
Yeah. I think I never even thought about it the way you said that, Maria, that there are different types of slumps. I think that if I've just read a book that was just like blew me away, it was 5 stars, I can't jump in. I need to like a novella, a real spicy novella that's got zero to no plot. And it like almost like resets my brain to be like, okay, now we can get into something else. But yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard.
If I'm coming off a book high, then I have to read something similar to that. And I
Mm,
know some people are the opposite, but for me, like let's say I read a book and it was a bully romance and it was a 5-star and I just absolutely loved it. well, I might sit on it for a few minutes, but then when I go to pick something else up, I'm still riding that high that I'm
Yeah.
like, I need another bully. Like, I need another alpha hole. Like, so I'm like going back to that trope because that's usually what helps me in those cases. I tend to stick to the same trope or same genre from my book bag.
Yeah. Now, would you say that you stick with certain subgenres or tropes when reading, or will you venture out into like just to see like what other things are about?
No, I definitely will venture out. I used to never read fantasy, and then this year I started reading fantasy, and now I'm reading a few fantasy books a month. I'm actually really enjoying the fantasy world. I mean, it's so action-packed. The adventure in fantasy is just mind-blowing. It really keeps my attention. So I'm really enjoying fantasy. I do try to venture a little bit, but I also do get comfortable sometimes.
Mm.
Like, I can sit
I know.
comfortable in one genre for a while.
Oh.
Um, I like rom-coms, but I just kind of started reading those too in the last year or so. And those I have to be in a particular mood to read.
Mm.
I don't seek them out, but once in a while I'll be like, oh, I'm in the mood to laugh. So I'll, pick up Megan Quinn or something.
Mm.
Um, I try to venture out, but sometimes I get a little stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I think
So
we all do.
yeah, for like mafia romance, do you have like a go-to authors that you will stick like you'll always read their books every time they publish?
Yeah, so Faith Summers, she is an author. I feel like she's underrated. I work with her. She's one of the authors I talked about earlier on that I do work with. She writes really great mafia. I will read everything that she publishes, and I've loved everything. Jane Henry is also great. I help her out from time to time or do some things with her. Maggie Cole, I love Maggie Cole.
Love her.
I work with her too, so I do some, venture into her backlist. Um, and then, of course, Rena Kent, I will read anything she puts out. She's done, several mafia. Um, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody big here. Why do I feel like that? You know? Oh, Eva Winters. I like Eva Winters too.
I was
Yeah.
waiting for that. Just kidding. No, I'm like a huge
Who am
Eva
I
Winners,
forgetting?
so.
Yeah, there's like so many more, but
Mhm.
to remember.
Yeah.
You've read Jagger Cole, right?
I just got into him in the last few
Oh.
months, and I am loving him.
Mhm.
He is a he's a good one, man. He keeps you on
Yeah.
your toes throughout the
Yeah.
book. I mean, he's got suspense, he's got mystery, action pack. Like those are one of the ones that I'll pick up now that I've discovered him if I'm in a book
Mhm.
slump because I just know he's going to keep me entertained from start to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I would
many
say
books of his have you read so far?
I
Like
have read,
more than one? Because I'm going to bring something up that Marjorie and I discovered.
well, in my
I
defense,
think
I've
it's
read
3.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, so in my
So,
defense, I've started after I finish Dark Hearts, I started going back to his backlist and I'm still going through it because those are a lot they're a lot shorter than the newer ones that
oh,
he
are
has.
they? Okay.
Yeah, because that's why I could read through them quicker because they were a lot shorter. Now they're kind of getting longer, so it's like taking me a little bit. I mean, it's still fast paced. I like it. There is that one theme. I don't know if you've noticed it.
I
Now,
don't know. I want to know if you've noticed it. So, when he describes the male genitalia, do you notice he uses the same, I don't know if it's intentional, but everything is it fat cock?
mhm.
Yep. Every You will notice it now if you haven't.
That's why I
Every
was.
book, everyone's got one.
Mhm.
I am going to pay attention. I have not noticed. But I haven't read them back to back. The few that I've
Okay.
read, I feel like sometimes when you read an author back to back, you start picking up on I feel like they all kind of have like a little thing sometimes that they don't even realize that they're doing. But no, I'm gonna pay attention now. That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it's like, because I usually, or I have read him back to back before, and I'm not like super lasering on it, but then I'm like, I feel like I just read this, but it's not the same book. It's just the description is the same over and over. And I'm just like, so I was like trying to count at some point, and I'm just like, I should not do this. I was like, I should pay attention to the story instead of counting out. But like, I've been highlighting it every time I'm reading. It's
I
just like,
know.
I should.
That is hilarious.
Get
And then
a
I would,
random screenshot from you. Look what
yeah.
I
And
found.
yeah, I've been like screenshotting it to her, like if I'm like reading, and I was like, guess who I'm reading? And then it was just that phrase in there, and she knows already who I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And so,
But his books are
That's
good though.
hilarious.
Mhm.
They are. He writes some good spice. I'm like, go him.
Which series did you or read like
Um,
started?
it it was the Deviant Hearts.
Oh,
I
okay. So
started
that.
into that one.
Mhm.
But I just wish his books were on audio because I
Oh,
could get through them faster
mm,
if they were. Um,
I
I
think
have to sit and read and who's got time nowadays?
nobody. Um,
I know.
yeah, yeah. I don't think he has put them out on audio yet. I don't think he has.
No.
Yeah. Um.
Huh.
Um. So, in your opinion, do you think mental health plays a factor in book slumps?
I absolutely do. Yeah. I definitely think that plays a factor. I mean, your mental and your emotional state, if you're not in the right headspace, like how can anyone really sit and concentrate? Or at least I can't, just speaking for myself personally. And this has happened. I'll just be like, I can't today. I've got, X, Y, and Z on my mind. Or, your stress, your anxiety. I mean, today's a hard world. So
Yeah.
I do feel like it definitely plays a role.
Yeah. I and I guess it depends on like what someone's going through because sometimes I can if I'm in a funk, I can definitely be like, "You know what? I need to just go sit upstairs and read and be somewhere else." And then there's other times like last week I just couldn't do it. My kids were driving me wild. Like my anxiety was like at a 10. I had to watch Housewives. Like I couldn't like function. I needed to just watch TV for a little bit.
I agree 100% because I agree. Like, I use reading to escape from the everyday,
Mhm.
but sometimes the everyday gets a little too full and it feels overwhelming. So you're just like, oh, I have to take a step back from everything at this point. And the only thing I can really do in those moments is take that break, go for a walk, or do things that I know will, help with the stress or the anxiety, which, can fit different for everyone. But yeah, I definitely have to take a break when it gets to a certain point.
Yeah. Now just to switch tracks for a little bit, have you ever considered writing a book?
I have actually, I wrote something like it wasn't complete by no means. It was, maybe 30% complete. And then I was like, it's terrible. I hate it. And then I just
Aw.
like stopped. And it has been something I've thought about quite a bit, but I don't know. I don't know. I've thought about it, but I just haven't really taken I think I trip myself up with it, get in your own head about it sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that.
If
What
you
about
would
you
Honestly,
say,
guys? Have you thought of it?
why are you looking? You're looking at me. I'm writing one. Sorry.
Oh,
Mm.
yay!
I'm freaking out, but you know. Because I put it like, oh, I have a set date of when I'm gonna publish it, and I'm just like sitting in here. I'm like, I'm behind with my editor, and I'm just like, I'm gonna pull an all nighter at some point and just
Oh,
finish this. Yeah. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's easier to write. Like when I'm not in my head, it flows better, and then there are times just like, oh, this is not gonna be good. It's not gonna like nobody's gonna read it and all that stuff, and you're just like, now I can't write. Like I'm stuck. I'm just like staring at the screen.
Yeah.
Um, but if you would like continue what you're writing, what genre would it be in, or subgenre, I guess?
What I had started was definitely a romance. It was very angsty. It was just something that kind of put you in your feels. So it was something where kind of like an arranged marriage where he's the alpha, like asshole, and he's like, I didn't want this, but she's trying to make it work kind of thing. It was kind of giving me very much like Katharina Mora vibes, with like
oh,
that like Wrong Bride and The Temporary
Mhm.
Wife, that whole series. Because she writes books that really puts me in my feels, and I wanted to write a book that kind of put me in my feels. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the vibe it was going with. But then as I was writing it, I was like, I don't know. I feel like this isn't original. Like, I just started getting in my head about it and then started like critiquing every little thing. And then I was just like, I just stopped. So, um, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll pick it back up.
Yeah. We need
oh, you
more
should.
angsty stuff. Yeah, we should. Maybe next year you'll publish. You never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll put it out there.
I love an
Yeah.
angsty read.
Yeah.
Me
Mhm.
too. Me too.
Do you have like a
I
go-to author? Sorry.
for good angst.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, I feel like Katharina Mora is like pretty good about putting me there.
Mhm.
Other than her, I'm trying to think like Catherine Cowles, can sometimes like really bring it in her books. And A.L. Jackson too, which I'm really excited about
Oh,
her
yeah.
newest release coming out this month. Um,
Oh,
so
the
yeah, I
box
think
just shipped. Did you order it?
I did. I am so excited. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I did
I
get
did too.
the
We were
art
like, well,
Yeah.
she was
copy and
asking.
I was so excited.
Yeah,
I
It's
was so
so
it's so
excited
pretty.
about
pretty.
that.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw it, I was
I
like,
have to
it's so
say,
pretty.
I think A.L. Jackson has some of the best book covers.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She will hire models and do photo shoots. So she had talked about that on an interview I did with her, and I just think she kills it every time.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
love her
love hers.
covers.
Because
What's the
hers are always couple, right? Like couple model covers,
Mm.
majority of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
a
what it was.
lot of
Sheridan Ann. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
I was
It's
trying
like,
to think
yeah.
what?
of another author that was
Mm.
angsty, and I haven't read the book yet, but Sheridan Ann. Have either of you read her? No.
No, I'm gonna write that down though. Sheridan Ann. I will check that out.
I think her
I could
newest
always use.
one is gonna make you cry.
I
I
know,
heard.
that's why I haven't read it yet, I'm afraid.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
as long as it has a happily ever after, I can get down with that. But if it doesn't, then I will start raging
Yeah, I don't
because it's
think
not a true
so. I think
romance if
avoid the
it doesn't.
newest one. I
It
think
doesn't have it?
I think from what I heard, it's kind of like almost like a walk to remember type thing.
Oh god.
So not the newest one, I guess. Don't read the newest one.
I have the newest one. Now I'm
Yeah, I think
nervous.
that's I think that's what I heard. It's like, it makes you it's like angsty, kind of like dark romance version of like A Walk to Remember, maybe. I think that's what
Oh,
I
come
heard.
on. I can't have people dying.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to skip that one for sure.
I mean, that's
Oh,
why
boy.
there's this trilogy I started. I read two of them. It's a why choose, but then the third one, when I was looking at the blurb, it says unconventional HEA, and I was like, no. So I found somebody who read it, and I was like, who died? I just asked who died, and then she was like, do you really want to know? I was like, yes, because I don't want to read it if it's my favorite character, and it was my favorite character, the one of the MMCs, and I was like, no, thank you for telling me what happened. I'm not reading it. I'm not finishing the trilogy because I was like, I can't. Like, I'm invested on this character, and you're gonna kill him off, and then tell
Well,
me that
sometimes I get mad
the
if it's a side character too, because I'm like, I like
Oh.
that
yeah,
side character.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like kill the villain. I don't care how you kill them or like whatever. Just don't kill any of the main characters, side characters that you made me fall in love with. Like
Yeah.
yeah. So
Hmm.
I was kind of sad because I was like waiting for that book to come out for a year, and then when a friend of mine told me who was dying, and then she's like, well, but the female main character is pregnant with his baby, and I'm like, excuse me. No.
Yeah.
Man, isn't that the worst though
Yeah.
when you get really excited about a book too? Like you've been waiting for months
Mhm.
for this book release and it comes out and then it just doesn't hit like you thought it would. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll put
especially
you
if
to
it's
the
like
side.
like a duet or a trilogy. Like you made
Yeah.
me wait, and then you're gonna like do this to me. It's like I'm just like, no.
It's like, why are you mad at me?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, well. Last question. What book conventions are you planning on attending in the next year,
Yeah,
if
so
any?
I think the only one I have that I'm pretty much set in going to is Lit in the Low Country. I don't know if you've heard of that, but they are in Charleston, South Carolina. That's where their book signing is. And it's in March of next year.
March. Okay.
So I definitely plan to go to that one. Trisha Wolfe, I know, will definitely be there. And she's one of my favorites. I love Trisha Wolfe. I think she's a genius, actually. I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure she's like low key genius, and she just doesn't tell anybody because some of the stuff she writes, I'm like, do
Mm-hmm.
you, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll get to see her, and I think Kelly Finley is going to be there. I think like Brittany Nicole, Maggie Rodon. Is that how you say her last name? Rodon.
Oh, yeah.
I just read a book by her, my first one, and I was completely obsessed. So now I want to go read like her entire backlist.
Which one
So
did
I'm
you read?
excited to meet her. Bull Rush.
Oh, okay. Is that like
Yeah.
cowboy? I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's a dark cowboy romance, and they're out on a ranch, and he's getting out of prison and finds
Mm-hmm.
out that his ex-wife isn't actually his ex-wife, that he's still married. Like they're still married, and she is engaged to someone else, and she needs him to sign the divorce papers, and he's like, you're going to give me 90 days. And so it's kind of taboo because she's engaged, but she's married still, and
Yeah.
she's going to give him those 90 days, and things get a little hot and spicy.
I don't know. Now I need to read that because I've been seeing it and I was like, cowboy. I don't like, have to be in a mood, but that's an
Yeah.
interesting story. So
That reminds me of that movie, Sweet Home Alabama, maybe?
yeah, they were.
Do you
Oh,
remember? She
yeah.
was, is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, they
But that's
were.
more
Oh, yeah.
rom-com.
Yeah.
I love that movie though.
Yeah,
So no
she was
wonder
supposed to
why.
get married with. Yeah.
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 But see, like that
It was
doesn't
a
feel like a love
lighter
triangle
version, I
to
guess.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
because some people
No.
might be like, "Oh, is that a love triangle?" I'm like, "No," because we know going into it, like who the guy is, like who the main love interest is. So
Right.
he's like the clear winner. And yeah, it was a really like 5-star read. I truly enjoyed that book.
I think I'm going to check it out pretty soon because I think I need to change the pace. That sounds good. I would like that.
Me too. Now I'm
Okay.
like, put it up.
See, you're
Push it
still
up.
giving us book recs. I don't have to watch a video.
I know, right?
Oh,
It's hard. It is. I've been making
oh
like an
boy.
effort to go through my physical TBR. I even made a spreadsheet, you guys. I have a spreadsheet with
Oh my God.
every physical book I have not read, and I am determined to get that number down before the end of the year. So it's gotten to a point now where it's like, is it on the list? Because if it's not on the list, I'm not reading it. Well, I've made a few exceptions, but for the most part,
Oh,
it's
right. You did that video.
Is it
But
like
I
a?
don't remember. How many had you read of your physical books?
yeah, I saw it. I saw a few book talkers make this video where they were like, um, this is how many books I own, and here are the amount of books on my TBR. So, like, this is the percentage of books I own that I have read. And so, like, my number, and this was in August, I did it. My number was I have 687 books. Like, that's how many books I own. And 201 are books that I have not read yet that are on my physical TBR. So, it came out to being like I have read 71% of my books. And that's actually a really good number. Like I was pretty happy with that because I thought it was going to be like lower than that.
So, are you still buying books, or you're on a book ban?
That is the question, isn't it? Um,
No.
and that's the problem because I'll be like, well, I want to read this book, so I'm just going to buy it and add it to my list, and then I get to read it. And that's not the right mindset. It defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do. So I've been trying to like buy books that I have read that I loved, like 5-star books that I just want physical copies of, but it's not going well. So we'll just say that.
Okay. Well, soon enough, you're gonna be your shelf will be like considered a library, right? Like if you're over 700 books.
Is that the number?
I
Oh,
think so. I think it's like if you're over 700, you're considered a library.
I honestly may have already made that because that was in August. That those were August numbers.
Oh, okay. So you've added
So
since
we're in
then.
October now. It's probably over. It's pretty
Oh,
bad.
I mean, you're a library, but nobody can borrow, right?
right.
That's true. I have one person I let borrow, and she's my cousin, and she takes good care, and she always returns them in one piece. But other than her, there's no one else borrowing my books.
Do you
Yeah.
annotate your books? Or
I have a few that I have annotated that I just absolutely loved, but I also don't have the patience to do it. And I think because I do so much audiobooks too, and when I'm plugged in listening, I'm like doing things and like, either out and about or I'm, doing laundry or dishes or whatever. So I don't have a book in front of me to do that with. But I have gone back on a few of my favorite reads and annotated at that point. Yeah.
is it hard to annotate? Because I've tried and I'm just like, I can't. I don't have patience for it.
I thought it was kind of challenging at first, to be honest. I did one of those friend groups where we all picked a book and we sent it to each other and read it, and we all had a certain color. So, like, my color was, I think it was pink. So I had pink tabs and my pink highlighter. and I was the pink note girl, and then my friend Mickey was like the blue note girl. You know, like everybody had a color, and by the
Yeah.
end, you got your book returned to you, and everybody like annotated it, and I could read it and see everybody's like thoughts and comments, which was really fun. I loved the idea behind it, but sometimes I was having a hard time because I was like, you know, I have a lot of thoughts. I can't write a paragraph on my thoughts and, you know, the margin of one, you know, section. So it
You're
was
just
a
like,
little challenging, but yeah.
yeah, because I mean, the margins are not that big on the
Yeah.
book. It's this much.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
you
I don't
actually like,
think they would have. Go ahead.
so you had to highlight and then write down your thoughts, kind of. Is that
Yeah.
how?
Oh,
And I would just put stuff like, you know, oh, that's hilarious, or I can't believe he did that, or, you know, or I might make a prediction like he's probably going to do this later, or, you know, like just
Mhm.
little few word sentences or something. And um, it was fun. I like the idea of it, and I get jealous when I see other people's
yeah.
videos and they show all of their tabs, and I'm like, that's so pretty. Like it's very aesthetically pleasing to see.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have it in me. I don't know. I like to read it as a whole. Like when I'm reading, I don't want to stop and make a note. Like I just want to keep going.
Yeah,
But you
I
can
I
do
get I see that for sure.
oh no, you can highlight on the Kindle. But if you get like that Kindle Scribe, which is on sale for Prime Days, you can do that. Yeah. Expensive though.
I do highlight though. If I'm reading on my Kindle, I will take a
Yeah.
second to highlight. And I love that Kindle shows you like the most popular highlights, like when you're reading it, because it's already like underlined. And I'm like, oh
Oh,
yeah, I'll highlight that too, because everybody else highlighted it.
okay.
Yeah, I think I do the same thing because it's already underlined. I was like, oh, everybody's highlighting this, so
Wait,
now I
I
have to
don't think
highlight.
I have that. How did you get that?
It's automatically in there. It's like it's the most highlighted one. So when you're reading the book, it's just
I wonder
underlined.
if I have it turned off. Like, is it a setting I could
No,
turn off? Well, I
no.
don't. Then maybe nobody likes the books I read. Then.
It's like the underline is not like it's kind of like
It's like a
dotted.
broken
It's not like a
underline. Yeah.
yes, it's not like a full
Oh,
underline. It's
okay.
like a yeah, so you probably have seen it and just didn't realize at the time what that meant,
Right.
but it just means like a bunch of people highlighted that and it's trying to tell you. And sometimes Kindle, Marjorie, doesn't it tell you like 153 people highlighted this? Or like
Hmm.
it'll
Yeah.
even say it on your Kindle, I think.
Yeah. I think so too. I think I've seen it like how many people highlighted it.
Oh, I'll have to. I think I just thought maybe they were pointing out some kind of like grammatical error or something. I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
no, it's the most highlighted. You went the wrong direction.
I know. I don't know
But
what
let
goes
me ask you
on.
this though, like once you return your KU book,
Mm.
is there not a way to like see your highlights for that book without having to re-download that book?
You do.
Oh,
It saves it as like it will tell you it's like its own thing. It says your clippings on Kindle.
Oh.
really?
Yeah. It will be like random in there. It's just like it says your clippings. Even though the book is not there anymore, you'll see it. Like it Kindle automatically makes that book, I guess, if you could call it. But it says your clippings.
Interesting.
That's really good to know. Thank you. I wondered.
Yeah.
I've learned something today.
There we go.
I mean, and the only reason that I see it is because there's no picture. It's not there's no cover in it. And I was like, what is this random your clippings before I knew what it was, and then I open it, I'm like, oh, it's the ones that I've highlighted. So
I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's it. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for taking
Thank you
time.
guys.
I'm glad I didn't. The hurricane's not coming till a little bit later, so I was like, I'm doing this. You'll have to blow me away with my laptop, but yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you guys. You guys popped
Mhm.
my podcast cherry. This is my
ah,
first one
What?
ever, so thank you.
This was fun.
I will
of
always
course.
remember this moment with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
you never forget you first.
That's right.
Mhm.
And for all those listening, be sure to follow us on all of our socials at Unfiltered Romance Nights. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget to leave us a message if there is any author or any topic you would like us to discuss. So that's all. You can DM us on Instagram and TikTok.
TikTok.
And I think that's it.
Yeah. All right.
So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.